Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by the head football coach at Ogemaw Heights. Of course, that is Chad Miller. Hey, Chad, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. So, what a season you guys had last year. Just before we get into this year, just kind of recap 2023 for you guys.
Well, we put a lot into that game one at Gladwin, and it was close. We made a couple mistakes, and they got us. And we were able to refocus, and we reeled off nine straight and beat some teams beat a couple teams we had not beaten, and it turned into a league championship. And then we came back and got the big win against Gladwin in week 10, and then lost a heartbreaker in week 11 to Kingsford.
Yeah.
So it was a great year for the kids.
Okay, so just go through, this is kind of a big year because a lot of people talk about, a lot of the changes going on the west side of the state, but the Jackpine Conference is getting a little bit new stuff as well. We'll get into that more when we talk about the schedule. But,
Sure.
of course, the division you are now officially in the conference. What's that going to be like to you talked about Gladwin. Now you're going to be in the conference with them along with a lot of teams. What's that like being in the Jack Pine Conference this year?
Well, it's a bunch of teams our size. I think there's a couple D6 teams, and the rest are D4. Oh, I'm sorry, D5. Quality programs. Obviously, Gladwin and Claire's got such great tradition, combined with tremendous amount of speed. There's an all-state speed guy at Shepherd. Bullet Creek made a run last year, and Standish is Standish. They're always a very difficult team to play, and they've got their quarterback back. So it's going to be a challenge week to week.
For sure. So really go through what you have going on with this team and what do you like about this group that you have right now?
Well, we've got a experienced group of seniors. It's not a big class, but we've got three kids that have started for us for 3 years, and they're very good players. And then we've got top end some really good juniors that aren't used to losing. So we'll be just fine. We've got to replace some key spots, but this isn't the NFL. We don't get to keep them. So we're working on a new quarterback. Our backfield's very experienced. Our receiving core is very experienced. We're just going to be young on the left side. But we've got our right side of our offensive line. We have two kids that are really good players. We just have some 15-year-olds on the other side.
Absolutely.
Defensively, we'll look a lot alike,
Yeah.
like in the past. We'll get to the ball. We're undersized on defense, but we fly to the ball pretty well.
All right. You talked about, that was leading into my next question. Let's talk about some of the returners and some of the guys that are going to be playing for this team this year. So we'll start with the skill positions, then we'll go to offensive line, and then linebackers and defensive backs, and then we'll go to special teams.
Sounds good. We have Robbie Hawk, a 3-year starter, kind of a do-all kind of kid. Grew up as a quarterback, but he's going to play slot, split. He's been a 3-year starter for us in that role. The two running backs, besides Rob, Calvin Marshall, a junior, big kid. Connor Lambert, another real big kid. We're going to be very big in the backfield. We'll be 200 plus with our running backs. And then Nolan Hines has been a 3-year starter at slot and split. So other than when we have a couple linemen too that are returners, Joey Bach is a 3-year starter at right tackle and just a great technician. Undersized, we almost all of us are, but he's like a 190-pound kid. He's a real good high school football player. Then Ethan Hawk, Robbie's brother, we're moving from the left side to the right side to play next to Joey. And he started last year as a sophomore, big 280-pound kid, real good high school football player. So that's our returners. That's the returners we have on offense. We have like six, seven on offense. And then some young linemen will also fill in some holes.
All right. Offensive line, where are we looking there in terms of guys to watch and returners?
Yeah, Robbie Hawk, the right tackle. He's just technically so sound, even though he's undersized. He's just a tough. All of our kids are weightlifters. We do a real good job in the weight room, and he's a real strong kid. And Ethan Hawk's at right guard. He's over the top strong, and uh, and then we have a junior Garrett Guan probably, and or Sullivan Kane perhaps at center, and then two sophomores at left guard and left tackle, Jake Fernelius and Noah Tomzak, and then we might start us. We might we're going to play. We might not. We might he might start, but he'll play another sophomore Matthew Gates at
Right.
tight end. So we're real young in some areas, but we're very experienced in the backfield and on the right side of our line.
Yeah. Defensive line, how is that looking?
Ethan's going to play nose also, and then Joey's going to play D tackle. He played D end last year, but we're making a couple switches. And our ends are real dynamic kids. Calvin Marshall, we felt we had to move him to end just to let him make more plays. He's such a dynamic kid. And then Brant Provost is a returning starter at the weekend, and we're sprinters on the defensive ends. Both of them are 4.7 type kids, so we have a lot of speed on the edge. And we're still working on our additional D tackle besides Joey and Ethan, but we'll get guys rotating in there. We'll be all right.
Absolutely. Linebackers and secondary, where are we at there?
We lost 2 3-year starters at linebacker, but we're replacing them with guys that didn't play linebacker last year for us full time, but they started on the defense. Ian Jones, who's also our quarterback, is going to play linebacker. I've never done that in my career, but we're going to do that. And he got a lot of linebacker play and ended up starting at D tackle as a little 175-pound punk. Did a great job. He's a real good linebacker also. And then Connor Lambert started at safety, and he's a big 200-pound kid. We're moving him from safety to linebacker. So while we don't have returning experience at linebacker, they both started on that good defense. And then Robbie and Nolan will be the safeties. And then there's a few kids fighting for the corner spots, but we're pretty happy with where they're standing right now.
Okay. Special teams, where are we looking at there?
I think Angel Potter is going to come from the soccer team and kick on Friday nights. And then a mixture of all our we've got juniors from the JV that are filling a lot of special team spots. We don't second class citizen the special teams. I'm also the special teams coordinator, and we take that very, very seriously. We think it wins ball games every year. So it's real easy to get fired from the special teams because the head coach is watching. So those kids take it very, very seriously. It's whatever the position is, special kickoff return, punt return. We play guys that want to be there and want to be part of the mix.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about the kids. Now let's talk about the schedule, and it's a pretty good one. Of course, starting the season off with Mount Clemens Clintondale. Is that correct?
No, it's incorrect. I didn't want to name schools, but we had game one with a team from November to February. They canceled.
Okay.
We had Clintondale from March to the end of May. They canceled, and there's nobody left in the state. So I called 150 schools. It just didn't work out. I turned down 15 schools when we thought we had Clintondale. So now we're in negotiation with a real good team from Ohio, North Robinson, Colonel Crawford, but they have to wait until they exhaust all Ohio possibilities. So we might find out in a week or so.
All right. We'll obviously stay tuned on that. Okay, the rest of the schedule is, of course, September 6th at Taylor. And then, of course, Jack Pine Conference play begins. September 13th, home against Gladwin. September 20th at Shepherd. September 27th at Clare. October 4th, home against Midland Bullock Creek. October 11th, home against Standish Sterling. October 18th will be the Jack Pine crossover with the other teams in the league. and on the other side of the division, and then October 25th you'll finish the regular season at home against Croslex. So pretty good schedule. Obviously, still don't know what week one is going to look like, but it's going to be there's a lot of tough teams, but this is a lot of teams that you're very familiar with playing the last few years.
Yeah, week two, we're going down to Taylor, 3.5 hour drive. That's going to be a great challenge. I mean, they haven't had success, but they have 1,800 kids and play in a much bigger league than us. So they'll be quick, and they have some real good athletes. And for us, if we don't get a game one, it's a big advantage, you know, to the team that's already played. But we'll ride down there. We'll get off the bus and we'll be okay. Then Gladwin comes to our place. They've got some really good athletes coming back. I mean, maybe the best we'll see all year, number one. And the quarterback's back, the running back's back. They lose offensive linemen, but so do we. So it's going to be a challenge. And we go right into Shepherd, and Claire's going to be the fastest team we see all year. They've got so much speed back, and there's no breaks. I mean, yeah. Shepherd was down last year, but 2 years ago they made the playoffs. Got a new coach, and so we did our due diligence and watched his team in Florida. It's a very dynamic offense, so if he's got the kids to do it, they're going to score points. And Bullock Creek, of course, has a new coach, and I got a glimpse of them last week down at Midland. We were in a joint practice. We didn't go up against them, but I've got a little film. So they're going to do what they do on offense. They're very physical and biggest team, probably the biggest team we'll see. And then Standish is, gunning for us. So, and then Croslex week 9. I mean, I coached in that league for a couple of years. They're very, very good at what they do. They spread you out, and they've been doing it before everybody. They've been doing it for going on 20 years probably. So that rounds up the season for us.
Absolutely. So take me through what the next few weeks are going to look like for you guys in terms of just as we get ready for the 12th in just a few weeks.
We'll finish up this week with a couple days, and you don't want to just get everything in. You want to get it in at a high level. And we'll finish up with a couple days. We got a couple days this week, and then I'll just open up the weight room next week during the off week, and we won't practice at all. We'll just you can't practice football, but you can open up the weight room, and that's what we'll do. And then we'll be ready to go on the 12th. And we go 3 to 8. You can go 5. You can go 5 hours of practice. We go 4.5. I tell them I'm a nice guy, but I think 4.5 is enough. We go 3, then a half-hour break, then an hour and a half. We do that. We do that going into the scrimmage on the 22nd.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Chad, thanks as always for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck to you guys this season.
Thanks for having me. We're excited.